Hey everybody, my name is Matt, and I'm the Director of Sales Intelligence at Dutchie. Super grateful to be here, and it's awesome to see everybody here, and it's awesome to feel this charged up energy. I've been with the Dutchie family almost since the beginning, and along the way I've learned an incredible amount, and so has Dutchie. We work with over 5,000 dispensaries and other license holders across North America, and we process over $14 billion in sales through our e-commerce and point-of-sale platforms every single year. So, as you can imagine, we have an immense amount of information that we're pulling from, and tons of conversations we're pulling from our customers every day that allow us to innovate at a rapid pace on behalf of the industry. So, setting the stage, New York, of course, is geared to be one of the largest cannabis markets in the country, and the entire world is going to have their eyes on us. So this is an opportunity for us to really lean in, to set new standards, to set new best practices, and to really set a precedent to what federal legalization might look like. Now, in my opinion, I think that dispensaries are at the core of a cannabis market. So when retailers are successful, the market is successful. And one of the biggest aspects about a dispensary's success is building a memorable brand experience. And that's all about eliminating some variables and not reinventing the wheel. And part of that is by getting ahead of selecting your technology, POS, e-commerce, etc., and again, getting a head start. Another piece of that is being unapologetically and authentically you, really leaning in with that brand vision you've had since day one. So in regards to creating that brand experience, it goes far beyond the finishes in the store, the paint on the walls, the shelving, the optics. It's about you. So I encourage you to think about what really makes you tick? What are your core values? Why did you get into this industry in the first place? And what do you want your customers to feel the moment that they walk in the door for the first time? And what do you want them to tell their friends the moment that they walk out? Technology, if approached thoughtfully and proactively, can absolutely help you drive that brand vision that you discussed in day one with your partners. So talking about extending that brand experience, your technology does not end when that customer leaves the store. As we all know, COVID has accelerated online ordering for pickup, for delivery, for curbside, and oftentimes the customer's first experience with your brand is indeed through your online menu. So you want to make sure that your e-commerce is representative of your brand. I call this personifying e-commerce. Things like your brand aesthetic, your colors, being able to organize or rearrange your digital shelf, so to speak, bringing the bud tender back into the conversation by showcasing things like staff pics. This is all super important. So everything from the tone and look and feel of your website, to your e-commerce, to the customer service your delivery drivers provide, to even the curbside sign in your parking lot for pickup is all an extension of your brand and is all an extension of your story. So behind every great dispensary experience, every great brand is great technology. So running a dispensary is far more complicated than running a normal retail store operation. Surprise, right? In addition to the daily operations in a retail environment, you're also tasked to adhere to a ton of compliance and regulatory functions. And if you're not, you're putting your license at risk. So choosing the right technology that is POS specific and getting ahead of the curve is going to ensure that you're going to stay above board in regards to your license, and it's going to ensure that you have the spaciousness to really lean into that brand vision. Awesome. So when I first started working for Dutchie, it was the first time in my career that I saw the business as a living, breathing organism. The business has a soul, which is your brand, and it has a heart. In the retail space, I think that's your point of sale. So your POS, your point of sale, is your compliance tool. It's paramount. So in regards to your POS, it's automating compliance such as your intake process, your ability to automatically update your sales to the state, your ability to ensure your bud tenders aren't overselling outside of the legal limit or outside of legal hours. And you want to automate as much as possible in this process, because the more manual effort there is in compliance, the more likely you're going to have mistakes and fines, and the more man hours you're going to pay on payroll. So technology needs to support your dispensary flow. There's some compliance requirements, like being able to scan and check IDs at the front, and there's also the checkout experience. Perhaps you want to adhere to the more classic retail experience where You've got your customer who walks in, goes directly to the counter, interfaces with the product and the bud tender at the register and transacts there. Alternatively, you might be considering having more of an Apple Store experience where you have floating bud tenders walking around and taking orders on the customer's behalf. And those orders are sent to the back for fulfillment and then brought to the cashier to wrap up the transaction. Or similarly, you might think about having in-store kiosk where your customers go up to the kiosk, place orders by themselves, and that gets sent to the back for fulfillment. Or perhaps you're thinking about a combination of all of these things. One thing that's really taken off during COVID is contactless payments like ACH and cashless ATM. Super important that you evaluate this type of process because you want these things to talk to your point of sale and your e-commerce seamlessly. So ultimately, you want your tech to really support your dispensary flow. And a lot of that has to do with the hardware that you have set up, your kiosks, your laptops, your screens, your tablets, et cetera. Do not chintz on hardware. Don't spare an expense here. You want really good hardware that works really well and also looks really good. Lastly, you want to ensure that you invest in good internet. You would think this goes without saying, but it actually doesn't. A lot of our customers have cut corners on internet, and that's really going to hurt the business. If I were you, since I'm not an IT professional or a network professional, I would outsource IT and have somebody set up my networking for me. So keep that in mind. If something's against your grain, outsource it. Partner with folks who know how to do it best. Awesome. So now I want to talk about integrations. It's really important that your integrations or all of your technology plays nicely in the sandbox with one another. Earlier, we talked about your e-commerce being an extension of your brand. So you want your e-commerce menu to talk in real time to your point of sale, so when your customers are shopping online, they have a real and accurate depiction on what's actually for sale, because there's nothing worse than a customer ordering something for pickup, getting to the store, and realizing it's sold out. It totally sucks. So you want to make sure that connection is solid, and you also want to make sure that the quality of that data is really solid too. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to bring over customer-friendly naming conventions, detailed descriptions, strain types, THC, CBD, cannabinoid and terpene profiles. This is going to bridge the gap so your customers are having that in-store-like experience online and are educated about the products that they would like to purchase. So at Dutchie, we really realized that there was some friction in the integration ecosystem, and that's why we created an all-in-one solution where we've got POS, e-commerce, payment processing, cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, et cetera. However, it's just as important that we remain agnostic, because the technology partners that you choose to work with should be up to you. And everybody's mission's differently, and everybody's technology requirements are different. So when you're evaluating technology, make sure that those tech partners have the ability to integrate with others. Cool. So security and data security. This is something that's oftentimes overlooked. When you're evaluating your tech partners, really lean in and understand how they're keeping your data safe. What happens if there is a breach in data? What security measures are in place to keep your data secure? What encryption methods are they using? Have there been any reports of any crashes or data breaches within the technology that you're evaluating? And has there been any outages during some of those peak hours or peak holidays like 420? Make sure you have a backup plan for if there is a power outage or an internet outage, like having a backup hotspot. So like the saying goes, we always want to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. All right, so to cap it off here, your brand experience is your brand experience is an extension of you, your ethos, what really makes you tick, and it's an expansion of your four walls in the brick and mortar. Your technology should support the way in which your dispensary flows, not the other way around. So all of this is really just scratching the surface. I could talk about this for hours. So with that said, would love to talk shop with y'all. And if there is anything you'd like to talk about, I'd love to learn what makes you tick, what keeps you up at night when it comes to opening your retail operation. And also keep an eye out for that workbook at the end of the conference. There's a technology checklist that Point 7 put together that's really awesome that'll help guide you through the process of evaluating your technology. So thanks everybody. Again, I'm Matt from Dutchie, and I'll see you around.